Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here at my next Naruto Shippuden episode review. This one's going to be for episode 480, which is called Naruto.Hinata. And yeah, straight away, link to watch the episode if you haven't seen it yet in the description, but let's get into the review. This was effectively two half episodes, which made up one episode, in that the first section was like an episode called Naruto, and it was 11 minutes about Naruto when he was younger. The second episode was an episode called Hinata, which was about Hinata when she was younger, and then they roughly linked the two together at the end. This isn't really what I expected from this group of episodes. The ones that are obviously two character names, and they're obviously now telling us that the format is going to be kind of 11-minute short stories on each of these characters when they were younger. I was expecting this to kind of be a bit more like shipping focused, like Naruto and Hinata's like romance, where okay, let's show them when they were younger, the first moment they met, going up through the series, and then we would get maybe them interacting post last episode, post chapter 699. Because I think the biggest disappointment with this is that this episode also debuted a new opening and an ending animations. And the opening I thought was really good because we got to see all the characters in their the last movie designs, in their older designs, and it was really cool because it led me to believe that oh cool, we're gonna be getting some focus on the characters when they were that age during these episodes. That's really cool, the last era stuff. But then that opening ends and we're okay, cool, what's this episode gonna be? Because we really didn't know exactly what it was gonna be. And then all of a sudden we're basically the youngest flashbacks we've had with Naruto and Hinata ever. And it's just okay, cool, I'm interested to see what you do here, but not exactly what I wanted. Could we develop this relationship a bit more? Kind of cover a time period we haven't really seen at all in the series, which is basically the gap between the end of the series and the last movie. I much prefer that to kind of what we did get. I don't think there was anything inherently wrong with the content they gave us. It's just that I think expectations were, we expected something, we weren't really given that. What we were given was fine, but not amazing. The Naruto episode, for example, what was it about? It was basically just this kind of complete character focus on Naruto. There wasn't a ton of dialogue within the episode. It was basically just Naruto walking through the Leaf Village, seeing basically what a typical day is like for him when he was 4 years old, and he'd basically just walk around on his own. People would talk about him it's that boy's responsible for the fourth Hokage being killed, and all these little accusations and stuff like that talked about him behind his back. He doesn't have a ton of money. He can't even go to Ichiraku at this point in time and eat there because he doesn't have money. But he's hearing all these great things, and you can tell that he wants to. That was a kind of nice moment as you see him. And then the second half of the episode is just Naruto goes into the forests of the Leaf Village basically and starts kind of training a bit. You see him kind of throwing rocks to kind of practice his shuriken throwing. We see he does some pretty impressive acrobatics, but falls out of a tree. He then hunts for food, catches some fish, and then we end with just a really, really nice kind of sweet moment as the third Hokage arrives to kind of eat with Naruto as he's at his little campfire in the woods. At this point in time, Naruto isn't aware that this old man is the third Hokage, so he just thinks it's finally someone who's come over to talk to him and not just treat him like some sort of a monster. And he shares the food with him. They just have a little conversation about the stars and kind of just stuff like that. Saratobi kind of points out that man is so insignificant in comparison to the stars. It's all our little issues feel so insignificant compared to everything else going on. And this kind of helps Naruto a little bit to kind of enjoy things a little bit more, because he realizes that, I suppose to some extent, despite all the issues that he has and the way people treat him, they're fairly small compared to everything in the world, and so he begins to enjoy things a lot more which I suppose is meant to kind of lead us towards the moment where this is when he starts having more fun and playing pranks on people, and this is kind of where it came from. Like, Sarutobi inadvertently kind of led Naruto down this path to enjoy himself more. Um, the Hinata side of the episode is when she is just turned 3. So, like, really young. We focus on Neji a little bit at the start, primarily. And we just get some scenes with him and his father, training, and just the idea that he's aware from this early age that Neji is the most, like, has the most potential of the younger Hyuga clan members, even more so than Hinata, but he kind of highlights the fact that the Hyuga bloodline is important, and you have to protect Hinata, and you have, like, this just a setup for basically the first time Neji and Hinata meet, that he's aware that his father's brother has a child, but hasn't met her yet, and we just see... We basically then, from there, after they kind of first meet, cut to the funeral of Neji's father, and we see Neji very upset, Hinata kind of wanting to kind of say something, but holding back, and then she just kind of runs off because she's very upset and kind of wanders around the village and I suppose gets lost a little bit and encounters Naruto. And he's wearing his scarf, which is a little reference to the last movie that he has that at this point in time. And basically just is aware that she's kind of young and lost and helps her find her way back to her house. He runs off as Hinata's father comes out and basically just says, like, you are important. People have died for you because you are, like, the most important member of the Hyuga clan at this point in time. You kind of have to act that way, and you can sort of see the start of the pressure that she's put under as this certain member of the Hyuga clan. The other important scene is when she and Neji are talking. She's very much kind of like, I wish I was kind of more in your position, where I was strong but didn't have the pressure of the family, and Neji's just kind of like, you can't ever say that. Just highlighting that there was a kind of friendliness between the two prior to the death of Neji's father, and him beginning to, I suppose, blame the main branch of the family for what happened to the side branches. But in the end, I just don't feel like this episode gave us a ton of new information. It was interesting to follow just Naruto on, like, a regular day. Like, he just comes home, he's alone, he sits there, and, like, a tear comes out of his eye, and that kind of highlights that in the Hinata episode, he sees her crying and basically says that even though I don't have anyone, I haven't cried in a while. And they tried to bring it together, but it really was just kind of like, it very much felt like a filler episode, like an episode for the sake of filling in an episode slot. That, like, keep in mind, this is the 700th episode of Naruto overall. 220 from the original Naruto, this is 480. This is episode 700, this is a pretty milestone episode, and it's one of the more, like, nothing really happened in the episode moments. It's nice to see the characters this young and interacting, but nothing was really accomplished all that much in this episode, and I think it very much limits expectations for a lot of the stuff that's coming up. Like, next episode is Sasuke Sakura. The next episode after that will be Gaara Shikamaru. The episode after that is Jiraiya Kakashi, or Kakashi Jiraiya, I can't remember the order that it was in. That one could be interesting, depending on how young they have, like, Jiraiya, how young they have Kakashi and stuff like that. The Gaara Shikamaru one could be interesting. I think part of it with this one was perhaps just that, okay, it's our main characters. We focused on our absolute main characters so much that we basically know the kind of key events in their childhood, so they couldn't really do anything huge here. Whereas, like, some of those more characters we know, of course, but don't know everything about them, like Kakashi, Jiraiya, there could be some interesting stuff there. Even Shikamaru, like, what was a key event for him when he was really young? Gaara, outside of the flashback moment, when he's kind of really introduced and focused on as a character, what was some other moment with him when he was young? There could be some interesting stuff coming up. It's just that I hope once we get done with this kind of childhood arc that we get back to, like, okay, we have tons of room to play with these characters when they're older, in a time period where we know very little about them. They can go on missions, do all this, interact, start romances. That's the stuff we want to see, not going back the furthest in time we've ever gone with these characters. It just felt a little unnecessary as an episode, but I did, enjoy it. Like, I thought it was well put together for what it was. Like, it wasn't just clips we've seen already. This was new. It's just relatively, like, low. As I said, there wasn't a lot of detail here, like stuff to note from this episode that's really important to bring up. So that's the episode. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on the episode. What are your expectations for the future episodes done like this, where like it's half episodes basically? But yeah, we'll see what happens in the coming weeks, and then we're obviously getting into some adaptations of the novels, which should be really good. They should be really good. These, not the best, but yeah. That has been the review for Naruto Shippuden, episode 480, Naruto.Hinata. In the description, links to my social media accounts, my Twitter and my Tumblr, if you want to follow me on there. Also links to my Patreon campaign, and also my PayPal donation link if you want to help support my channel. But that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.